Margaret, where did you grow up?
I grew up about 16 miles south of here between Oregon and Brooklyn, and not Oregon, the state of Oregon.
Right.
Or Brooklyn, New York.
Huh.
On a dairy farm. My parents were farmers and loved growing up on the farm.
Okay. What was your family like? Did you have siblings?
I have two younger brothers. I'm the
Okay.
oldest and the only girl, and we did a lot of work on the farm. We helped out on the farm. Everybody had their chores, so
Okay.
yeah.
Were there neighborhood kids to play with that lived close by, or no?
Yes, there was. We were real friendly with a family that was just about half a mile north of us. So
Okay.
we were real friendly with them and back and forth.
So that was
Right.
walkable, right?
Yeah, right. And then I had cousins that would come, cousins that lived in Janesville and Belleville, and they used to come and visit the farm often, sometimes stay during the summertime, so we knew our first cousins well.
Okay. That also kind of segues into my next question about, was your family more nuclear or extended?
Well, I lived right next door to my grandparents.
Were they farmers?
Yes. And my dad was the only boy in his family, so he took over the farm from my grandfather.
Okay.
And when my grandfather was married, he moved up the road about, I don't know, quarter of a mile from the original O'Brien homestead. So the O'Brien homestead was just a little bit farther south than our farm.
Okay.
And then my grandparents built their home, and then when my dad and mom were married, they built another house right next to my grandparents. So
Oh,
I've
how
been
nice.
next door to them all my life.
Did your dad only farm? Because a lot of farmers have second jobs too. But did your dad only farm?
He was only a farmer.
And
right,
they're dairy
all
farmers.
his life.
Did you ever take a vacation?
Not very many. We would take day trips because my dad always had to be there for milking in the morning and in the evening. But
Right.
we would take day trips. I remember we went down into Illinois one time and looked at some corned Ostlers, which my brother later designed his own for seed corn business.
Did he
that they
patent
now
it?
have, right?
Did he patent it?
No.
Okay.
No. But then, and I remember my dad taking us over to Wyalusing State Park, Villa Lewis, and
Oh, right.
things like that for day trips. But we always had to be home for milking.
Oh, funny. Was your mom a stay-at-home mom, or did she work?
She was a stay-at-home mom. She was a registered nurse. She graduated.
Oh, really?
Yes, she graduated from Mercy Hospital in Janesville.
Okay.
But she did not practice after they were married.
Did she practice before she
Yes,
married?
yes, she did.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Janesville?
In Janesville and Elkhorn. At that time, they did a lot of in-home nursing, so she would go on cases and stay in the homes and take care of people. And that was what they did a lot at that time, instead of working on a floor in a hospital.
Okay. Okay, let's go back to your early life. What schools did you go to?
I went to Oregon to
Public school?
yes, all public school through kindergarten through high school.
Okay.
And then I came here to Edgewood for 2 years before I entered the community, the Cincinnati.
Okay, so as college, right?
Yes,
Okay.
right. 2 years of college I had.
Okay. All right. Did you go anywhere after that? Like get a master's degree or?
Oh, after I entered the community, I started teaching at St. Sabina's in Chicago.
Okay.
and-
What part of Chicago?
I was on the south side. It was 78th and Racine.
Okay.
And so I was there for my first 7 years of teaching.
Okay.
And while I was there, I was sent there and I did not have a degree yet because I had only had 2 years here. I took a few classes in the novitiate while I was at the Mount, but I didn't finish my degree. So when I was at St. Sabina's, I studied on every weekend. I would go either to Xavier's or Loyola And so then I didn't graduate from college with my first degree until 1970.
Really?
Yeah.
And was that at Edgewood?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I would come back here and study in the summers.
Okay.
Right. And then after that, I went to, well, after Janesville, after St. Sabinus in Chicago, then I went to Portage. So I was in Portage for 2 or 3 years.
What were you doing there?
I taught.
Teaching?
Yeah, I taught there.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, taught first grade at St. Sabinus. I taught in a multi-age system at Portage,
Okay.
first, second, third. Then I went to Holy Family in Whitefish Bay, and I taught second grade for a year and a half, and then I was moved up to sixth grade and taught that for a year and a half.
Okay.
Then I went to Janesville, Wisconsin, and I was principal there for 7 years.
What school?
St. John Vianney.
Okay. On Racine Street, right?
Yes, right. You know Janesville.
Yes.
And then I went to Ottawa, Illinois, and I was principal there. And I think I was there 3 years. I'm not sure of that. And then I went to St. Mark's in Peoria, and I was principal there.
Okay.
And then I came to Edgewood. So
Wow.
I've been here at Edgewood since 1988, the fall of 1988. So
Okay.
this is my 25th year at Edgewood.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Go back to schooling and intellectual interests. What authors did you like, or what intellectual things got you interested? Like, what books did you like to read? Any authors?
I've always liked
Subjects.
Fiction. I do not like mystery. I like to read historical fiction. I like what do you call it? Documentary kinds of things.
Uh-huh.
And anything about the farm and stories of the West. I
Uh-huh.
guess I like settling the West. Don't like anything too scary. I don't like too many mysteries.
Okay. Okay. Back to your younger years. Why did you enter the Dominican Order?
Well, I entered the Dominican Order because of the example that I saw of the sisters here at Edgewood. Those
Okay.
2 years that I was here, I loved what they did for education. I liked the way they were always happy when you saw them. It was a real experience of good community that I experienced when I was here.
Okay.
I was friendly with a group in dorms, so we were back and forth with some of the dorm students. And even to this day, I still keep up with some of those same people that we studied together here
Really?
at Edgewood. Right, yeah.
Oh.
We get together most every summer.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
Hey, how old were you when you entered the Order?
I was 21 when I
21.
entered. Yeah.
Okay. And that happened here at Edgewood, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Right.
What was Edgewood like when you got here?
When
how many buildings were here, and who was going here, and?
That's interesting. When I got here, one thing I remember is that Sacred Heart was still up on the hill.
What year was that knocked down?
I don't know when it was knocked down. See, I started here in '59. I'm not sure when it was
Okay.
knocked down. I think
Oh,
it's on
so 69, right?
59.
59.
I started. Yeah,
Okay.
I started here, and then I had the 2 years. So one thing I remember is I had a Latin class on Sacred Heart, and I also had a biology or art. I had both down at the Matskilly
Okay.
station. So we had 10 minutes in between classes, so I had to get from Matskilly to the 4th floor of Sacred Heart for a Latin class.
Okay.
So it was a big trek right up that hill, in those 10 minutes.
I can't remember. Was Sacred Heart in the same building as the high school, or was it a separate building?
No, it's a separate building.
Separate building. Okay.
Yeah, and it was also a building where some of the sisters lived.
Okay. And I was going to ask that next. When you finally came to Edgewood, where were you living?
I stayed at home. I drove back and forth.
Really?
I was a day student. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't stay in the dorm.
When you started working here, where did you live?
When I started working here, I lived at what was then called Memorial House.
Where was that?
That's on the corner of Lincoln and Madison. It's where Maggie and Sarah live now.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
All
now
right.
they call it Sophia House.
Sophia House.
Yeah, it was Memorial when I was there.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, I lived there 12 years.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Who was living with you then?
Maggie and Sarah were both there, and Maureen McDonald was there for a year, and Mary Montgomery, who was superintendent of the diocesan schools at that time. I lived with her, and I also lived with Sister Barbara Bianca.
Okay.
Lived there at that time too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any good Edgewood stories you'd like to share? It could be anything. Sisters, Stevie stories, or whatever you like.
I did know Sister Stevie. She was here when I was a student. And there was always a lot of funny stories about her. I remember one time somebody saying that they went to her room and she didn't have her veil on. And so, that was a big deal. Oh, somebody went and saw Stevie without her veil on.
She didn't wear it her whole life, though, did she?
No, that was when I was here as a student, and
Okay.
the sisters still were in full habit at that time.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you ever wear a habit?
I did,
Really?
but not very long, because I was at St. Sabina's 7 years, and by the time I left there, I did not have the full habit.
What
By
year was that?
I think that, I'm not sure. Well, see, I went there in 61, so I left there 68.
Okay.
And first of all, we had the hard veil with the buckram in it. And I only wore that maybe for a year or two.
Okay.
And then we went to a soft veil. And then we went to what we called the Jameson suits. They were kind of a light polyester skirt and jacket.
Okay.
And then I know that my mom and I made a couple different outfits. And then the color was a little bit different. We were going a little bit further along towards street clothes. And then probably, by the time I left Portage, I think we were in regular street clothes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is this change in garb has to do with Vatican II, right?
Yes, it did. Right. Called for the revision of the religious communities, which we did. And
Okay.
now they want to take that all back and go the other way.
Right. Well, what are you currently doing?
Right now, I am in the education department, and I'm an administrative assistant. I did teach for 21 years here
Okay.
at Edgewood. I have not taught for the last 4 years.
Oh, really?
Right. So now I'm in the education office. I do a lot of data entry, big reports. In fact, right now I'm working on a PEDS report,
Okay.
Professional Educational Data System. But this will be my last year at Edgewood, and you may not know this. I've been asked to do a new job by our community called Manager for Congregation Planning.
Okay.
So my contract ends May 24th of this current school year. So I will not be returning to Edgewood next year.
Oh, so will you be at the Mound then?
No, I won't be living at the Mound, but I will be going back and forth.
Okay.
I'll have a room at the Mound because there are times when I'll be there for like 3 or 4 days at a time.
So what do you envision your tasks will be for that job?
For that job, I'm going to be working with a consulting company that we have coming in to work with our community in planning for our future.
Okay.
We have fewer number of sisters, and because we have fewer number of sisters, we have less money coming in for support.
Right.
So I'll be working with this consulting company and our leadership team. Mary Ellen Gevinger is the prioress, and she has 6 people as a leadership team that work with her. So I'll be working between the two of them and then getting that information out to our
Okay.
sisters.
Interesting.
And then we're planning for regional meetings as part of this planning in March. Everybody throughout the country comes together in regions, and we'll begin that planning process at that time. And then we also are working up to community days, which is our time this summer, the end of July into the first couple days of August. And then we come together as a community and come together at the mound, and we'll go further into that planning process.
Okay. That sounds very interesting. Okay. What is your vision for the Edgewood of the future?
Well, in the School of Education, we're just in the midst of planning or hiring a new dean.
Okay.
So my vision for the future would be that the new dean will continue to keep the education department, School of Education, a vital part of the college.
Mhm.
I think the School of Education has a very good reputation in the schools throughout the Madison and surrounding area, and my vision is that it will stay strong, that we'll still always see that strong part of teaching education here at the college.
Okay. Excellent. Of the 5 core Edgewood values, which speaks most to you?
Well, I thought about that, and I think it's probably community.
Community.
Because I'm part of a vital community as a Cincinnati Dominican, but I think it was that community that drew me to Edgewood and to the community, Cincinnati Dominican community.
Okay.
I had relatives in our community. I had an aunt who was a Cincinnati Dominican.
Really?
And I also had a great aunt. So I have several relatives. And then there was also a great aunt that was one of the very first ones that was buried at the mound.
Oh, what were her years? Like, was she like a 19th century person?
Yeah, right. Sister Athanasius Berry, and my grandpa O'Brien's mother was a Berry, so she's one of the very first ones buried at Edgewood at the mound, and she died from TB very early in life. She was
Wow.
a music teacher in Chicago.
Ah, really?
Yeah, and then my mom had an aunt, Sister Vincenza Hughes. My mom's maiden name was Hughes. She was mistress of novices at the mound for many years. I don't know how long, but she died in 1938, I think it was. So
Okay.
I was born in 40, so I never knew her, but her legend still.
So your family has quite a connection
Mhm.
to the mound and to the Dominican Order. So it's
Right.
now in order, right?
Yeah, and then my mother had a sister, Mary Catherine Hughes, was also was an aunt of mine, my mother's sister.
Oh, incredible. Lastly, as we wind this down, what wisdom would you like to impart?
My wisdom, I think, would be that we always, for Edgewood especially, do you mean?
Yes, or
Okay.
for anyone viewing this film, perhaps.
I guess my wisdom would be that we always stay true to those Dominican values. I think they're really a core part of our life here at Edgewood. I hear them over and over, and I'm glad that so many other people have absorbed them and bring them alive. So I think that that is wisdom. All those 5 values, as they come together, that's the wisdom that we need to go into the future.
Excellent. Anything else you'd like to impart?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay. Well, I thank you very much, Margaret.
You're welcome. Glad to do it.